Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
I promise you, this is not a political podcast.
Jump from the deep end of the pool, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. 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 Set up the mood.
Testicles 1, 2, testicles. Welcome back to Paranormal Radio Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Trebles Garcia, the humble host of this amazing adventure. And I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here today. And I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I have an amazing episode lined up for all of you guys. Please do not forget that the most important thing that you could do for the show is word of mouth. Check us out at paranormalradio.com and drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Now, allow me to jump in from the deep end of the pool and set the mood. I'm a little starstruck and I'm a little nervous. I have the friends of a friends of a friends, an amazing podcast couple that are going to bring bombs of knowledge and deposit a lot of information for all of us. And I want to thank them again for being here. Please give a warm welcome to Joe and Jen, hosts of the Legit Bat podcast. Sorry,
it's kind of a tongue twister if you don't say it all the time, but thanks for having us, dude.
Yeah, thank you. I like the sound of legit bot podcast. That might be cool. We might have to use that next time.
We probably said something close to that before. Depends on how drunk we are, I guess.
That's true.
Oh, fuck. That's the fucked up part. I'm fucking sober, bro. You know what I noticed about being sober? The more sober I am, the more I fucking eat. I devoured like 6 tacos right now and got different al pastor, carne asada, all that good shit, bro. I heard you have a good Mexican taste over there too on your side of town.
Oh yeah. No, I was sending him pictures the other day of tacos and all that stuff, and
yeah.
So shout out Jesus down in LA because he's my brown friend that checks me with my Mexican cuisine. He talks to his mom like directly. I'm like, is this authentic? Do I do it like this? And he's like, yes, it's exactly right. I'm like, hell yeah, for a Northern California white boy, yeah.
Yeah, that's the good stuff. Well, California does run deep with the tacos, so we got tacos.
It does
everywhere.
happen though too, dude. When you stop drinking, you just start eating like crazy. Like, oh, I'm gonna eat ice cream and then some Swedish fish, and then I'm gonna jump over to some chips and dip, and maybe finish maybe more ice cream.
And that's after eating dinner.
Yeah,
yeah. That's exactly how my day goes. And then my 2-year-old doesn't help at all because she's eating more. I started giving her some vitamins, and the more every other hour, I'm talking about every 30 minutes, every hour and 30 minutes, she wakes up. She's like, Titi, taco. So she's always telling me she's hungry. So when I walk her to the kitchen to get her snack, I help myself to a snack. So yeah, figure, man.
One for you, one for me. That's how we do it.
Exactly. That's how we do it. Guys, I want to thank you guys, and I want to allow you guys to plug it in. Where can people find you?
Pretty much everywhere you listen to audio podcasts. I don't know all of them, but every one I've checked, usually you can find us on there. We live stream to YouTube. Lately, we've been doing our show live stream to YouTube just to see how long we can go without getting kicked. And then the video is always up on Rockfin and Telegram chat. We got that too. Instagram, all the different places. I even recently started a TikTok as kind of a joke, but I've been throwing some stuff up there. But
it's TikTok.
I already got
That's TikTok University out there, man. People get all their information from TikTok. I was talking to one of my deep state correspondent. He was like, I don't want to start a fucking TikTok. Unfortunately, these platforms are the keys that we have to use. People are too lazy to go to the search bar. It takes 5 seconds out of your fucking day to go to the search bar and search for what you're looking for. And then on top of that, it's generated AI information. And on top of that, that's the only shit people are used to having because you already have it on your phone. People don't want to download another fucking app, bro, unfortunately. So I'm sorry if I'm cursing. I didn't ask you guys if you guys were explicit.
Oh, we're very fucking explicit. No, the other thing is, I get that same thing where people are like, where's the link to this guy's show? I'm like, dude, I said it 100 times. It's in the title. Do you know how to use the search bar? It'll show up. Like, I don't have to have a direct link to Spotify or to iTunes. You can just look it up. You can do that. They get very mad if I don't have a link, though.
It doesn't matter how hard you try. People always want to fucking get it spoon-fed. They don't want, and a lot of the times also, as content creators, I think we could both relate. A lot of the people are rather be first than be right. So a lot of they're just regurgitating information. They don't want to do the research, bro. It's just, it is what it is.
That's why I don't ever, we try not to comment on any breaking news stuff until like 2 weeks later when we can be like, Okay, now we can comment because it's already happened. You get all these little, memes and everything else that come out, and it immediately after like the Trump shooting, for instance. But you get all these things out, and then 2 weeks later, you find out a lot of that was bullshit, or there's more to it, or so it's like I'm not. Whenever something new comes up like that, I purposely don't talk about it, and we just talk about something else. Like I'm not going to be a news broadcaster about this stuff. I don't know what the fuck's going on any more than you do.
Yeah, I hear you. Let me know something. First of all, I want to shout out the guy that drew that crazy that fucking brand logo behind you guys. Shout him out, bro. That is amazing art. Straight up.
That would be at Bags Draws on Instagram. He's also a fellow listener to our favorite show, Our Big Dumb Mouth. So shout out Bags.
Yeah, shout out to that dude, man. Yo, if you listen to this show, bro, hook it up, dude. Hey, I know we all got to eat. I'll shoot you some money, bro. That's pretty badass. I've been looking for an artist.
Talk to Drew from You're Missing the Point. He'll draw you up something. He's been doing that too.
That's freaking crazy. I didn't know that. Australian, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I haven't collabed with him yet. I am gonna hit him up. All right, guys. So you guys are here to talk some fucking crazy shit. Look, I don't want this to be scripted. I want you guys to tell me, what was your first red pill? What made you do the show? What happened? What made you tick, man?
You want to start or me?
What made you do this show?
Well,
that's funny.
The first red pill would have been years ago when I was a kid and had to start questioning things because we grew up very strict Christian. So I immediately, by the time I turned 12, I'm like, there's some things that aren't making sense with this. I got questions. And I mean, ever since then, that was right around the time of like, right after that was 9/11. And even back then, though, like I was like 15, I think, when 9/11 happened. And I'm like, I don't really care. It's a bunch of towel heads running planes into buildings. But that's in New York. It's a different country to me. And then, 20 years later, you start looking into JFK and moon landing and all that other stuff. And it's like, oh, so 9/11 was a big fucking deal. But we used to talk about, what they call conspiracies back when I was a teenager, smoking weed, talking about aliens and all that stuff. And it was always fun back then. And then all of a sudden in 2020, it turned really fucking serious. And everybody, even people that, we call normies, are just looking around going, whoa. And then they start going down the rabbit hole and look at 9/11 and JFK and all these other ones. So that's about when we started it, just because it was like, this stuff is too weird. I'd been talking about doing a show for about a year before 2020, just never got around to it. And then once all this stuff hit, I'm like, might as well do it now. Fuck.
Yeah, he had the idea, though, a year before. And he was just like, I want to start a podcast. But he had no, base. No idea what he wanted to do. But then we decided... Me, Joe, and his brother would always sit around and just talk and shoot the shit and talk about weird stuff. And we just kind of molded the show after that to try to make it like we're sitting around a fire pit talking to each other about just random weird shit. And that's how it all began.
We just turn on the mics for an hour of it and have a crazy guest on. So.
And then Joe's really good at emailing whoever he wants. It doesn't matter how big of a name they are, or if it's our favorite podcast or someone we've listened to that we just absolutely love. He'll just email them. And he got a yes almost every time. So we had a lot of people on the show right away because Joe was so brave. And I think it's brave. He just thinks it's normal. But I was like, I would never email that person. I'd be terrified.
What's the worst I can do? Say no?
I know. You're absolutely right.
That's a good salesman mentality, bro. I love that. It's good salesman mentality. You come in, what's the worst you can do? Say no? Shit. Move on to the next, right?
Exactly.
I have to amplify that. As we approach Halloween, I remember reaching out to a couple of my original friends. I call them the 7 Wonders of Paranoia, because they had 99,000, 95K followers on Instagram. And I was like, these guys are never going to reply. So the first thing I did was drank a couple Coronas. And and back then I was fucking around with Coke. So I took a couple lines. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to hit him up. What else am I going to do, right? If my wife was pregnant. I was like, fuck this. I texted him and I sent him a DM. Same thing. And then they handed us beautiful time. They donated time to our humble little Latino-based show in LA, and nobody really, I remember I was recording the show in my little 2015 Mitsubishi Mirage using an iPhone and fucking headsets with no video recording. It was just all audio, right? And sooner, after we worked hard, we were able to invest in our stuff. But yeah, the podcasting community has been nothing but welcoming in different areas, specifically for the people that are in higher calibers. Yeah, man. Great stuff.
Well, and especially in this particular weird niche community, they seem to be pretty open to coming on. I heard Catalyst say the other day on one of his shows that he was going to be paying this dude to come on his show, and it's some high level dude, but he's like, I've never paid for a guest before. This guy wants $200 from to come on my show. I'm like, dude, that is wild. I'm not paying you. I don't care if you're fucking Trump. I'm not paying you. Come on my show for free.
Well, if it's fucking Trump, bro, well, I guess we all gotta eat though. Look,
why is he gonna want $200 from me though? You know, like really?
I know, but like the dude that he's getting, I'm not sure who it is, but if he's paying $200 for this guy to come on for 40 minutes or 30 minutes on his show, this guy must have some bombs, and it's going to bring him some type of a wave. You know, you're paying paying for the signature. Like when you buy a perfume or a cologne bottle. The cologne bottle is mostly. You can't own the scent. You're owning the signature on the bottle, basically. That's what he's buying. He's buying the signature behind the voice. So
like when people buy a Gucci bag, the bag could look like a dog's asshole, but it says Gucci, so therefore I am. So it's someone. Gucci. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Talking about Gucci, bro. What's up with that Balenciaga shit, bro? You seen that stuff?
Oh, what was that? Like 2-3 years ago now?
Oh yeah, that was a while ago.
No, I'm talking about like the fucking what was it? Trash. It is. I think it was 2-3 years ago. It was right before the kid situation. But they were walking in mud. Photo shoot.
Are you talking about the ad? The ad they had for it, or
was it a red carpet, like a model walk?
It was a model walk, but it was like in the mud.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys haven't seen it? I wish I could pull that shit up, man. This is crazy.
Dude, I hate all of that modern so artsy shit. It's so stupid.
Their clothes are insane. They'll be walking out in a cardboard box like, this is it, the next trend.
Wait, Zoolander did it best. Derelict, and he's dressed like a fucking bum. Like, what's
what it is.
Why not that?
That's what it is. It was predictive programming in Zoolander. Great movie, by the way. I freaking love that movie. Yeah. Crazy stuff. No,
it's funny. Like all that stuff, all that the things they say are artsy, but then you get Marina Abramovic like doing spirit cooking with a cake corpse, and like, okay, this is beyond art now, dude. You're just into weird shit. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna. Go
they're like making excuses for it. Okay, it's art, so I can do it because it doesn't. It's art, so art can be anything. But they're really just trying to get their rocks off doing their bizarre spirit cooking or possession, whatever the hell they're doing.
It means nothing. I mean, like if Hunter Biden's making paintings and selling them for millions of dollars, modern art's a crock of shit. There's I think it was an Italian dude, but he made an invisible sculpture and had it on a pedestal at an art show and sold it for probably millions of dollars. Look it up. He sold an invisible sculpture. There's literally just nothing there. He just put the pedestal there and said it's an invisible sculpture, and everybody, all these pretentious ass white people walk by and they're like, yes, I see what you're going for there.
Because that's what they're going to tell their friends. They're going to be like, I paid $2 million for this invisible sculpture.
And they really just got a $20
Aren't
pedestal.
I clever? Yeah.
Mental illness, bro. Fucking crazy. Abramovic, I don't know if you guys know this, but Abramovic's, one of her most famous art shows was people were able to torture her for about, 3 hours, 8 hours?
Oh, so yeah.
Yeah, right? She would and then like there was a gun, there was knives, and people would go. So eventually, after like 5 minutes, nobody wanted to participate, right? And then it took that one person to come, and then she put I think she put a knife, a flower, she put a gun, she put like string, she put a bunch of different weird stuff on there, and everybody was like whipping her lightly, and then it took that one guy to get the rose and like stab her. And then stabbed her on her boob. She was completely naked, by the way. And then she started bleeding. And then once the first dots of blood started coming, it was a frenzy on her body, bro. And most of these people are doing cocaine and high intense drugs, bro. Crazy shit, man.
Adrenochrome and other stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
no, she creeps me out on a primal level where I'm like, not only are you just gross and weird, there's something about you that really like irks me like to a base level.
It's
like
unnatural. It's like demonic.
It's almost uncanny valley. Like you don't belong in the human race. You're something else. You're something off. We can all tell, but she attracts the people that she wants to attract. Obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And same scenario with these movie stars. This is kind of where I wanted to take the conversation. The Hollywood elite, and I wanted to bring this in for Fright Fest because this episode is going to drop in October, and it's going to be really important to highlight that stuff. But I think it's demonic possession, bro. I think everything that they're doing through the entertainment industry, kind of like what Da Vinci did in his era, right? They were the artists of their time. They were the ones that were setting the next trend of their time. state-of-the-art stuff with sculptures and acoustic properties to the buildings and architecture, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm thinking the new art form, the new shit that you want to applaud and put on a pedestal would be the entertainers, these jesters, these clowns, right? And they are practicing dark arts, and what they're trying to do is implode society into demonic into a demonic realm, demonic ruled realm. Any opinions on that?
No, they're the modern gods. They're the modern pantheon of like Roman gods. They're just we're not looking at the stars anymore. We're looking at TikTok and all these quote influencers that are they're stupid too. Like I've seen some of the stuff that show up on YouTube, and this guy's got like 100 million subscribers, and he does literally nothing that none of us aren't already doing. So it's like, how did you get to that level of? I mean, like the guy that opens presents or opens like toys when they come in, and I guess
I haven't seen
that would be like for little kids and stuff.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
For more of the adult stuff, just like influencers like Taylor Swift. That's a great current one, but yeah, they're just a modern pantheon of gods that people follow. And I guess you'd have to talk to. I mention him all the time because his stuff really interests me, and I think you get along with him well. Is JT follows JC? He does this idea that Jesus already came back, and now we're in the small season of Satan, which would make a lot of sense with how the world's basically controlled by demonic shit right now. You can't really look around and be like, oh yeah, Christ is running this place. No, it looks like he handed the keys off to somebody else for a little bit because shit's going crazy. And if this is going to come out near Halloween, I mean, what's scarier than that? So, spooky shit.
Revelations does, to amplify that part, yeah. The Revelations talks about not the second coming. Before the second coming, there's going to be 1,000 years of demonic rule. So we live in his realm. Satan even tried to sell this realm back to Jesus when Jesus walked. He tried to seduce Jesus by giving Jesus what Jesus made. Makes no sense. I know. Fucking crazy. But he tried doing that, bro. And then in Revelations, he's I'm not a biblical scholar. I'm just diving into the Bible because I think it's the deepest conspiracy book and the oldest conspiracy book in the world. It talks about how there's going to be 1,000 years of chaos before after the rapture, which is after the second coming. So what you're saying connects. We might be in those in 1,000 years to God is like, I think is if 7 days for God is a day, right? 1,000 is 1 day. Yeah. Crazy stuff, bro.
No, so the way he comes across is he says there's going to be a millennial reign of Christ, and that's what everybody's looking forward to is Jesus coming back, reigning for 1,000 years, but nobody ever really gets past that and says after that in the Bible, it says, but then he's going to like turn it back over to Satan for a small season. It doesn't really say how long it is, but JT's kind of correlations are like the Tartaria stuff and the last, the deleted history. Like some people think they took out 1,000 years of history. That matches up. But then you see all what they call Tartaria and all these crazy buildings during what they call the Dark Ages and how magnificent they are. That's the Dark Ages, Renaissance, whatever. And then you had Mozart and Beethoven, all these people creating like timeless music along with cathedrals and all this shit. It doesn't seem like it was Dark Ages. It seemed like it was a lot better of a time, but they're like, no, they were dirty, retarded peasants that couldn't do anything and they had horses and buggies. And then we look around now and we're like, no, we have great architecture now, but our music is dog shit. Everybody seems to be...
The architecture is more structurally sound, but it is definitely, well, maybe.
I don't know.
But it's not beautiful. It looks like nothing. Remember when we had Alison Gray on? She was talking about just the buildings are so boring. They're just squares. There's no soul
blocks
to them anymore. Yeah, and we're also, I'm not saying anything about global warming or whatever, but there is pollution in how we get around, more so than maybe riding around in a horse and buggy, and it was probably a lot more green, and the air was probably cleaner then. Yeah.
They had airships. If you look into it...
It might not have been such a bad time.
I think that's why it's so interesting to me. One of the things we look at a lot, especially with guests that come on, is that weird like history between like 500 AD up till now, and how there seems to be a lot of like disconnect between what actually went on and what we're told went on, because the buildings don't match, some of the photographs don't match. There's a lot of things that don't add up with what we're told.
Yeah.
And so at the very least, people could look at that and be like, huh, that's weird, and get on with your day. Or you can look into more detail and look at the World's Fairs and all that, all those type of things too.
But they won't, because it's not spoon-fed to them, because they've robbed us from our creativity, and they're freaking distracting us with sleight of hand. The propaganda machine is bombarding you daily, every 10 seconds, you're either listening, tasting, breathing, smelling different types of propaganda on a daily basis, bro. And it's fuckery. That's what it is. There's no other word for it. It's fuckery. I know. This is why I do short. I used to do an hour and 30, and now I'm just doing 30 to 45 because these motherfuckers we get boring. But how do we get boring? You're not using your intellect. You're not using your critical fucking thinking skills, if you even have any, if it wasn't robbed from all the fluoride you used to drink when you were fucking young. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking crazy shit, bro. I agree with you 1,000%. I'm sorry.
No, and even, for this generation, even 30 to 45 minutes is really asking a lot. They want it. They want everything you believe in like 5 to 10 seconds on a TikTok,
on a reel,
and then they'll just swipe to the next one. So to actually
based
have
on
the
emotion.
amount of listeners,
so if you don't like it, you just right. You don't even stay full on. So when you go to work and you don't want, like me, for example, I saw myself doing this shit. I'm so used to death scrolling and watching ass shake on TikTok that when I'm not liking it, right? When I'm like, oh, just scroll, they handed me a stack, bro, of SOPs I needed to read, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to read this. Can somebody walk me through them? So I started asking anybody for cheat codes. Like, oh yeah, like, do you know how to do this? Hey, yo, like, do you know, like, trying to delegate? Bro, no. Like, I need to go and read the SOPs. When was the last time I had stuck a piece of paper in my face, bro? I was shook. You know what I'm saying? Type shit, no cap.
whoa,
Yeah,
this is
boring.
way too many letters and words in one spot. Holy
I
shit!
panicked.
Can you break it up?
Yeah, I couldn't scroll. I can't scroll this shit. Yeah, it's you get
No,
used
that's
to
why
it. It's all
to
bad
have
habits.
any amount of like listeners on an audio only long form show is pretty crazy. When you look at how quick, like even some of these long form shows will put out TikToks trying to condense that show down to like 5 to 10 seconds.
I do it,
and I'm like,
yeah.
I wish I could do that. I don't have time to fucking sit down and chop up a show like that, but I get why they have more of a following too, is because they were able to get their shit out in like 5 to 10 seconds before somebody scrolled on. I'm like, no, if you want to hear what we have to say, you got a commitment. You got to sit down, smoke a ball, and listen for an hour and a half, okay?
Yeah, you got to, man. Commit. And don't forget to check out Legit Bat. We're, I think, 15 minutes in, already halfway in this conversation. Guys, let them know again where they can find you. We're going to go to the second portion. Yay.
Oh, second portion, segueing. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, anywhere you, if you're on YouTube, for as long as we're on there, and Instagram, Telegram, all that stuff.
Joe makes crazy memes on Instagram. Check it out.
try to.
What is it? Legit Bat?
Just at Legit Bat
At
on
Legit
Instagram.
Bat? All right.
At Legit Bat. Okay, Jen, I have to ask this question. How legit is this bat?
He's
got a legit bat.
Stack of
That's what he
dimes and
says
a
in the
nickel.
show. If you get the joke of workaholics,
Oh,
he says,
fuck.
"How big is your dad's dick?" He goes, "He's got a legit bat." That's where the legit bat comes from.
Boner.
Oh, shit.
Talking about dad dicks in the 80s.
No, dick jokes, man. You guys are funny, dude. All right, so I really want to turn it up a notch on the darkness here, and not evil stuff, but like I want to ask you guys: have you guys ever had a paranormal activity situation happen within your family or yourselves?
I'll let you
Yeah.
lead with that one.
I have. I've had a bunch of weird stuff, but I'll have to like abbreviate this story a lot. But when my daughter,
TikTok it for me. TikTok it for me.
I can't. But yeah, my daughter is now 18, but when she was about 18 months, 2-ish, she was sleeping in her room, and I lived in a tiny apartment. I was in school, and I still had a baby monitor. I don't know if you still have those for your kids, but I didn't need one, I guess is my point, because it was such a small apartment, but I still had one. So I was just sitting there studying for a test the next day, and I saw the baby, like I would turn it down because I didn't want to hear anything, but I could see the lights if they went up. You know what I mean? Do you have those?
No.
All right. So, all right. So anyway, so I saw the lights go up on it, which means there's a noise. So I turned it up, and I'm waiting, and there was no crying. There was no baby. There was nothing. So I waited a minute and was just like, fuck it, whatever. I'll just go back to studying. So I'm studying, and I hear this like weird sound come over the baby monitor, and it was in an apartment.
Shit.
It was in an apartment complex, so I picked up other people's baby monitors all the time. It was super normal. There was, I'd hear someone else's kid or hear other people talking. Just the frequencies would cross, no big deal. And this was weird, though, because the sound, I couldn't tell what it was. And it went away as fast as it came on. And then I heard it again, and it was this like, shh, blah, 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 blah. Like, it was like that. It was like a weird, crazy metallic sound. And it happened a few times, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I better go in my kid's room and see what the hell that is. Because I didn't really think it was in her room, though. if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like I wasn't really worried because if she had cried, I would have been able to hear her, and I didn't hear anything. So anyway, I opened the door expecting her to be awake playing with a toy or something. And as soon as I opened the door, I realized what the sound was, and I saw that she was dead asleep in her crib. And the
What made
moonlight
the
was shining
sound?
in. It was her. It was this kitchen set she had. This toy kitchen set was like going off by itself. So it was like making these sounds like it would sound like a boiling water, and it was like blah, 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 and then it would do like like you're frying bacon
Oh,
or
you
something.
fucking
But you'd,
scare the shit out of me, dude.
so you would have to turn the buttons to make these sounds. But I rationalized it because I lived alone. I was like single mom. It was just me and my kid, and I was like, okay, well, maybe the batteries are shorting out, because that's a thing that I've heard can happen, and I don't know if that's real. But I went to touch it, and right before I touched it, it went off like in the movies. It was so crazy. It was like right when I went to go touch it. So I'm like, oh shit, okay, fuck this, I don't have time for this. I just grabbed a butter knife because I didn't have tools. I was like 25 years old, single mom. So I grab a butter knife and I'm just like trying to tear this thing apart, trying to get the batteries out of it. And in the process, my kid wakes up. And she's standing in her crib bouncing, and I took the batteries out and I throw them on the ground, and I'm expecting the thing to go off by itself, right? And it does not, of course. So I pick her up and I'm like, hey kiddo, time for bed. Okay, I love you. Let's go back to bed. And I pick her up and I'm holding her right next to my face, right? And she goes, Mama, there's a ghost. White dear. And she points over my shoulder. And she said there was a ghost. She said, Mama, there's a ghost. White dear. And points. And I said, okay, there's no such thing as ghosts. Go to bed. And I put her back down and I left the door open, and I was super shook because she was too young to joke around with me. And she also didn't know what the fuck a ghost was. Like she wouldn't know what that meant. And if she did, it would be something from like Casper or from a cartoon or something, but she didn't know, like, it wouldn't be what I thought a ghost was.
Wasn't there another time too when she was talking about like kids with bandages on their hands?
Yeah, so then there was another time that right around that time we got home and my car was so the lights were all out in the apartment complex. Like the street lights had gone out for whatever reason, so it was dark. And I turned off the lights in my car and it was pitch black, and I was like, fuck, okay, I gotta get out and find my way to the apartment. So as I turned off the car though, my daughter immediately lit up from the back seat in her car seat and goes, oh mama, look, babies, 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 and pointed. And I was like, what? I couldn't see anything either. It was pitch black outside. And she said, oh mama, babies, bandaids, hands, Band-Aids, hands. And that's what she would say when someone was bleeding. She would say Band-Aid because she was too little to say that person. She didn't say full sentences. So I was like, okay, there's no babies that need Band-Aids, no big deal. So I picked her up, walk into the apartment, and everything's fine, like no big deal. So then I was reading her a book a couple weeks after this, and she sits up abruptly in my bedroom and points in the corner of the bedroom and said, oh mama, babies, babies, band-aids, hands, band-aids, hands. And she's going like this with her hands, and she's making a face like she's seeing something gross. And I was like, there's no babies that need band-aids in my bedroom, I swear.
It sounds like such a movie
it was
plot,
so
but
scary.
Yeah,
it
no,
was
this
weird.
is if I'm sitting like this, bro. Like I'm looking at around like, oh crap.
So
Okay,
it makes you
Band-Aids.
think like, do a lot of these things happen because of movies, or is it the other way around? I would tend to think it's the other way around, because they say little kids can see and sense other things like that. And isn't it weird how most kids don't remember before they're like 5 or 6, but before that they can sense all this other crazy shit.
And also,
like,
I ended up working with kids later on in my life, and I learned things like kids point to direct your attention to something. They don't point at nothing. They won't make it
Wow.
up. They won't just point just to point. They will, if they're pointing and looking at something and they're trying to show an adult something. And she was way little. She wasn't like 3 or 4 years old where she had seen a scary movie before. She was watching PBS Sprout, for God's sake. Like, she wasn't.
oh, that's probably what did it.
She wasn't watching anything that was remotely scary. She was in daycare or at my house, and she was watching either cartoons or reading a book or playing. She was never watching scary stuff.
I think the moral of the story is that kids are fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Yo, yeah, they are creepy. I haven't had a situation like that. My oldest never went through stuff like that. I think I would have fucking shit my bricks right there on the spot, because I have a lot of respect for the paranormal. I've seen an elf. You're not gonna believe this. I've seen an elf. I've seen it. I've shared this many times on the show before. Let's say the iPhone. He was dirty screen. Sorry, he was yay tall. Exactly
Oh,
that.
wow.
And his head was half his size of his body. He wasn't any type of, he was a brownie. After I did some research, he was like a brownie. And but at the end of the day, I now
Was
that
he in
I'm
your house?
again, he was at my mom's house. So when I was adopted by Mexican parents at the age of 9. And this happened when I was fresh out of jail. I was sober. I wasn't doing anything. I was chill. Like I was working. I came at home. It was 9, and it was it was a full moon. I remember there was a full moon. Like the light would hit. My one of my brothers had went to Texas chasing some girl, and when I came home, we used to sleep in the same room. I seen over to his twin little bed, and then he left like a mountain of dirty clothes on his bed. I'm not gonna fucking fold that shit. So, and then the window was cracked open. I always left it open because I used to smoke in the room, right? I used to fucking roll up a spliff and just get fucking stoned. And I wasn't high. I came home, I threw myself in the bed, and I was like this, watching the moon. And I was, you know how you daze out? You're just like, right? You daze out, right?
Oh, yeah.
And yeah,
Comfortable stare.
yeah, comfortable. There you go. Comfortable stare, like the fucking fluoride stare, I call it. And I was just like, and then boom, bro. I seen like the top of the cloth goes like, and I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, and I stared even harder, and I just started staring at it. But dude, he went, bam. He looked at me, stared at me for 5 seconds, and he goes, boom. He jumps behind, like this is the shit that we had, right? Like one of these. He jumps behind the cupboards. I mean, the freaking what's it called? The fucking
The dresser?
The dresser. Sorry, he jumps behind
clothes
it,
holder.
and then the clothes holder. And back then, I had the freaking stupid TV was the one with the boxes in the back. It was a flat screen, but it wasn't like flat screen. Like it was flat screen and it had like a bump coming out. It was a thick flat screen. So. He jumped from the back and he went, and then I left my door slightly open. It wasn't completely like slammed shut. It was like creaked. So he jumps from the back, and then he looks at me. He goes like this. He puts his head at me, and then as soon as he jumps out, within a millisecond, my father opens the door to his room, and then walks to the restroom, bro. And I'm like, at this point, the door's this way. I'm like. And I'd stay like this, bro. Bro, I was sweating cold. And I was just staring at the freaking to see if it would come back. And then I hear my dad takes a piss, wash his mouth. And then he comes out. I hear the steps. I hear him go on his bed because it creaks those old beds. He jumps on the bed and then he talks something to my mom. And I'm like, what the fuck? Fell asleep. Woke up the next morning. I told my mom, rest in peace. I told my mom, what the heck? I seen an elf. And she goes, mijo, that's okay. Don't talk about it. Don't say anything. Don't offer them anything. Just let it be. If he lets you saw him, let it be. I used to play with them in Mexico. What? And then she told me she used to bring Mexican coins, like quarters, like the Mexican cents, to play with them. And they would play with her. That they would jump. She had like a little puddle in the back of her house. And I'm talking about a rancho. Like a rancho has, where they have like a long spaces. They have where the ducks come and then they eat. And the water comes and drinks water, whatever. So the horses and shit. Yeah, it's like a little mini pond. She said that they would live there. And I believe her.
Wow.
I believe my mom never had a reason why to lie.
That's super sincere though, because she was like, "Oh,
Wasn't
don't
surprised.
even." Yeah, she wasn't surprised, and she was like encouraging you to just not talk about it and just play along.
Dude, that's crazy.
Immediately.
Was the elf any certain ethnicity? I'm wondering.
Well, he was brown. He kind of looked like me,
brownies.
bro. But he was brownie. That was the brownie. But I guess brownies are Europeans. That's their word. But they do look different. And I try to like manifest him or think louder to see him come out. Now that I'm older, I'm thinking like, that motherfucker was a demon, bro. That was trying to show himself. He showed himself to me, bro. Yeah, crazy stuff,
Well,
dude.
it makes sense that he was. What do you want to call it? Mexican, Latino? Because I mean, leprechauns in Ireland look like Irish little guys, so they kind of see them how their culture is, which is really strange.
Or maybe they manifest that way because it makes more sense to the culture.
That's where I was going next with that. That's what I think.
Oh, shit.
I think it's all the same thing, and it just shows up however it thinks you want to see it, or however you'd believe it, or not believe it.
Well, it's hard for our brains to process things we don't understand. It's much easier to see something that.
One of the best
that we've already
points
seen
about
before.
high strangeness and all that is that it almost seems intelligent in the way they show up because it's so unbelievable if you were to tell anybody else that it's plausible deniability for the entity or whatever, because they show up in this crazy way and you're like, holy shit, you'll not believe what I just saw. And everyone's like, yeah, I don't believe you. And then it's done. So that's why it's funny that your mom actually like knew what you were talking about, but didn't really, and you wouldn't have known that before unless you saw it. And then she's like, "Oh yeah, don't worry about those things."
Yeah. I
Oh,
was
that's
like, what
crazy.
the fuck, Mom? Trip the fuck out. But going back to your daughter, 18 years ago, I assume the tablets weren't that big at 18. They were expensive back 18 years ago. YouTube wasn't that. I said, yeah, she didn't have a tablet, right?
She didn't have a tablet. Nope. I couldn't afford a tablet. I was a waitress and a student. No, she didn't have anything. We had PBS Sprout on cable. Like, I couldn't even afford Netflix.
It was so long ago. She still had a Play kitchen set. That's
Yeah,
how
well,
long ago.
her grandfather got it for her, but it was kind of weird too because around that time as well, I started sleepwalking as an adult, and I did stuff all around the house. Like, I would mess things up, and I would like dump stuff everywhere and put things in different places. And one day she fell asleep in my bed when I was reading books. I just laid down and I would let her sleep in my bed. If she fell asleep, I was like, whatever, I'm not moving her. And I woke up in her crib the next day with the door closed. And it was so weird. So I went to a doctor and they said, "Oh, you must have walked in your sleep as a child." And I said, "No, and never." And they said, "Oh, well, you should have an MRI because it's extremely rare to start walking in your sleep as an adult if you've never done it before." And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, I'm not doing that either." But I stopped short. Well, we moved also.
And this also
God.
wasn't like blackout drunk or anything
No,
like
I wasn't.
that.
I wasn't.
That's actually creepier. Like if you were blackout drunk, I'd be like, I've done something like that before. Don't
No,
worry about it.
I just, I did lots of weird stuff. But yeah, there must have been some sort of dead spirit baby. Well, obviously dead, but spirit children in that area that were playing with her toys, maybe that she was maybe playing with. I don't know really, but she could sense something that I couldn't very clearly.
Shit's creepy.
I think kids do have like a thin veil where they can sense, see, or almost speak or touch other entities or spirits lingering.
Because they just came from the other side not that long ago, so they can still kind of sense that other side or whatever. Yeah,
innocence, perhaps, which is why they're also hunted, right? Kids are being hunted, stuff like that. Yo, guys. Now I've seen that we just fucking hit the 30 mark already. I was like, what the fuck? We just started having a conversation, bro. The thing is funny. I wish I had more time. I don't, but I have to respect the 30 to 40 minutes. I want to give you guys all the much love and appreciation and respect that you guys deserve. Thank you again for being here. Let them know where they can find you one more time. Joe and Jen from Legit Bat. Let's go.
Tell you what, you tell us where we can find you because we're gonna put this out on our feed too. So,
Woo!
And is it Trebles or Treble or Trebles?
You could call me anything. That was my Italian accent. That was fucked. Sacre bleu. It's Trebles. It's Trebles. It's that's my rave name. That when I was a fucking raver, I raved for a very long time. My party mom fucking called me Trebles. Yep. Oh man, that's my shit. I remember 2008. I was 17 years old. We fucking ran I was one of those kids that ran the gate at EDC LA, 2008. And Benny Benassi came out with that song, Trebles. That's why I say, let me jump in from the deep end of the pool and set the mood. Because the beginning of that song says, he goes, turn on the radio and set the mood. Trebles. Oh, no, I started rocking it. And I started dancing, and they're like, that's your name. I was like, fuck it. And that's stuck forever.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Love it.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, where can we find you and your show?
Guys, you can find me at paranormalradio.com. Paranormal Radio Podcast is here to serve, and you can find us on all podcast platforms absolutely free. And now dropping daily episodes, video episodes on Rumble. Make sure you check us out at paranormalradio.com. That's right.
Nice. And I checked out your show with our Word Catalyst. I was looking through your catalog today, and I'll definitely be listening a lot more because it looks like you talk about the same type of shit we do. So awesome stuff. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
dude.
thank you so much.
Yo, guys, you guys are amazing. You guys have great energy. The tacos look amazing. Keep it up. You guys are a beautiful couple. Keep doing what you're doing. That logo's fucking legit. So, homeboy, if you're still doing art, hit us up because we're trying to buy some art. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You can check them out at Legit Bat. Check us out at paranormal.com. Do not forget to drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Good night.
Paranoid Radio.